Meet Kwame. He works long hours, diligently transferring his extra earnings into a digital banking app. The numbers are clearly there on the screen, but with prices rising around him every day, his savings feel invisible. He is running in place on a treadmill, losing ground to inflation. He has thought about investing, but looking at flashing digital charts and complex corporate shares often feels like staring into a wall of noise. It is chaotic, highly volatile, and entirely disconnected from his daily life. Then he visits his Auntie Ya. The moment he steps through the gates of her compound, the anxiety fades. You can run your hand along the sun-warmed brick. You can hear the solid click of the heavy wooden doors. The environment feels permanent. Auntie Ya has a simple rule. She avoids keeping her wealth hidden behind a password on a screen. To her, real security is built with physical materials, assets you can see, touch, and walk right through. There is a unique psychological peace that comes from owning a physical piece of the earth. No matter what happens to the global economy, people will always need a safe place to sleep. That basic, unchangeable human need creates a strong, reliable foundation for the value of property. Sitting under the shade of the courtyard mango tree, Kwame asks the obvious question: how does a normal, working person actually afford an entire building? Saving up hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash seems mathematically impossible. Auntie Ya explains that most investors don't buy with cash alone. Instead, they provide a small deposit and use the bank's capital to cover the rest of the purchase price. This diagram shows the math. You provide a 20% deposit, and the bank provides the rest. This gives you full control over a property worth 5 times your initial cash. If the value of that house goes up by just 5%, the result is significant. Because you used a small amount of money to control the building, that small growth massively multiplies the return on your original stack of coins. This is how wealth scales. By using borrowed capital, an average earner can bypass decades of slow saving and acquire a valuable, income-producing asset today. The benefits continue long after the purchase. Look at the attached rooms in Auntie Ya's compound. Every first of the month, the families living there pay rent. We can track exactly where that money goes in this flowchart. The rent flows out of the doors and into a central funnel. The largest portion immediately pours down to cover mandatory bills, the loan payment, property taxes, and general upkeep. Notice that smaller stream diverting to the side. After every single bill is paid, the money left over is what we call cash flow. This is pure passive income that goes straight into Auntie Ya's pocket, month after month. Consider that large portion of rent going to the bank. With every monthly payment made, the total amount owed on the property permanently decreases. Auntie Ya is collecting monthly cash while her tenants steadily reduce her debt. They are essentially buying the building for her, 1 month at a time. If you look beyond the compound walls, the story expands. Over the years, dirt roads that once surrounded her home have been paved over with new infrastructure as the city rapidly modernized around her. This is appreciation. As a city grows and expands into densely packed neighborhoods, a well-located piece of physical land becomes highly desirable. Over decades, its value naturally climbs, securely outpacing the rising cost of living. But this isn't a passive dream. Physical property requires upkeep, and major repairs are an inevitable part of the process. A sudden, severe storm can expose a sudden roof leak, or a main water system can completely fail. Fixing a major structural breakdown can instantly wipe out an entire year of that passive cash flow profit. There is also the human factor. You rely on people to pay rent. If a tenant loses their job, stops paying, or severely damages the rooms, you are the one left facing expensive repair bills and stressful legal processes. Succeeding in real estate is a long marathon. It demands immense patience, a healthy cash reserve, and active problem solving. Back in the courtyard, the painted brick and wooden doors now look entirely different to Kwame. He is looking at a highly efficient 4-cylinder financial engine quietly running in the background. He wants to build his own, and there's a straightforward strategy for beginners to replicate Auntie Ya's success. It is called house hacking. The approach is simple. You buy a modest property with multiple units, and you live in one of the rooms yourself. The families living in the other rooms pay rent, and that money covers your loan payments and bills. You get to live for free, all while getting hands-on experience managing a property right outside your own front door. Owning a physical piece of the earth is one of the oldest, most proven paths to securing financial stability for your family. It comes down to a truth captured by the humorist Will Rogers. He said, "Buy land, they ain't making any more of it." Building tangible wealth takes time, patience, and effort. The years are going to pass anyway. And while the absolute best time to buy your first property was 2 decades ago, the second best time is today.